I called Donnie. I said, I cannot find Summer. Come home now. He's like, call the cops. So I threw my phone down on the back of his pickup, ran over to my mom, picked up her phone because the only one that gets out there is AT&T.
Okay.
So I picked up her phone, I dialed on one.
So would you want to see this person in prison?
I don't know if I could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no,
It just depends on all the circumstances, you know.
What do you think should happen to the person that did this to Summer?
Person that did this,
yeah,
they should be locked up for a very long time.
Why do you say that?
Because I was like, that's like my little sister. And I say that because she's just not the type of girl to go from the swing that's up there.
Okay.
So what do you think should happen? What do you think should happen?
I have to leave it to God, you know, and I know what prison's like, and I have mercy for anybody who's in prison, because you're lucky if you get out of there alive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So would you want to see this person in prison?
I don't know if I could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no,
It just depends on all the circumstances, you know.
What if it was an accident? So you leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask that.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, and I'm paying these payments, you know, $600 a month plus the insurance, you know, and it's just sitting there. And I thought, well, I may as well get some use out of it. And I threw all my tools in there and started driving it for a little while, just because, you know.
Yeah.
She went and asked for a piece of candy. The grandmother had just came from the doctor's office that day. Probably got the pills out, and Summer went and thought probably it was a piece of candy.
I've heard a lot of negative things about Chris.
Oh, ate the pills. Ate the pills. Is that like the rumor going on like that?
One night. And it was about 3 o'clock.
At the house, you think she took that?
I checked. I came over at 2.
Me and Mom drank Mountain Dew.
Okay.
That's what we did. We drank Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And the summer we got done, we washed our hands real quick, went in Grandma's house, and she asked Grandma for a piece of candy. She always does.
Okay.
And of course, Grandma gives it to her.
Sure.
And she wanted a piece of candy, so Grandma gave it to her. We were sitting there for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes maybe at the most. And she was, Mom, I want to go back to the house with my brothers. I was like, all right. So I got up and I walked her back across to where I could literally see her walking to my doorstep. She was just gone.
Okay.
She was just gone into nowhere. And I started tracing the property, going everywhere I could. I sent my boys down.
And so I mainly product, yeah. Go ahead.
So you're
come out on the jobs constantly. If anybody knew where I was at that time, it would have been him.
You know, to get your side of the story out here.
I mean, I would say this, but I don't care if the camera's on or not.
No,
I mean,
the camera's on.
I don't really care, to be honest, with the camera. But, so that day she came, right? The second time?
Mm-hmm.
After all that?
Is this where the fence stuff is tonight, or where is it at?
It's right there. It's right there.
It's all over with.
Shane.
I was saying that the second...
Who is it?
Right, just literally cut your phone off all the way. Cut your phone off all the way so we have no interruptions. Anyways, beyond that, the second day she came, she went to the car either to grab something or something, but I grabbed her phone because I want to see if she had anything to hide. Like you said, I'm street smart, I'm very observant.
Yes, you are.
Like, I would notice anything, like, you wouldn't even have to tell me. I still noticed the mic on you.
Right. No, I respect that.
It's just how I am. It's just, if you're gonna leave something on the table, and I know that you probably got something to hide because the way you're acting,
Yep.
and the way you call me, of course I'm gonna look through your phone.
Sure.
So she goes through her car, goes on the other side. I act like I'm grabbing my phone because they're just about the same.
Right. So you play it like.
So I put mine where hers was.
Got it.
And so I grabbed her phone. And so when I looked in there, I seen 13 messages between her and her drug, I'm gonna say drug dealer because he is, Andy.
I know where she's at. She's in a motel room somewhere with some weirdo.
I don't know if I'm allowed to name his name, but yeah, all I seen was the first message before she started walking up to the mailbox to get up here is that it was done, and I was gonna read the next message of what she said. And she just started running up here, and I had literally just slid my phone in my pocket and just put hers there. It's like, she asked me if I went through her phone. I said no. Why? Because I cleared it all out before she can get up here.
Did you tell TBI all this?
Yeah, I told her.
Okay. So what was your gut feeling when you read that it's done?
My gut feeling was that either they had something to do with it.
Who's they?
Her and Andy.
Okay.
Or it was all of them together, like every single one of them in a family.
Where do you
So they're always saying like, well, I just hope that nobody's hurting her. I hope that nobody's, I hope she can be outside because she loved to be outside and see the sun shine. Okay, so in my opinion, Donnie doesn't see SA as hurting.
Please don't hurt her. Please let her come home. My biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times, that's my greatest fear, that she's not able to do any of these things anymore, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive because it's so easy to get.
Me as a 5-year-old, you are being hurt. You are being tortured. Like he says, I just hope she's not being hurt, tortured. In his mind, if he sold Summer to pay a debt or get money or whatever, in his mind, well, it won't be so bad if she's being used for trafficking. I'm hoping she's not being hurt or tortured. Well, because SA isn't torture to him. It's not hurt. It's not hurting someone.
Yeah.
To him, it's normal. And so
he even stated that once, I believe. I never hurt her once.
You think Don was at work that day?
From what I've heard from the TBI, he was not at work.
No, I'm not talking about from TBI, what you know.
But what I know is that I thought he was at work because I used to work with him. I ain't gonna lie, I used to work with him on houses.
Okay, and what did TBI tell you then at that point?
Well, I was like, I asked him if he was at work.
And what they say?
They said that the people, they did not clarify that.
Okay, so they didn't verify it.
Yeah. And then while we were in the drive-thru, her husband calls her talking about this dude named Andy or Andrew on the property that's been there for like a week or so, she told me. They keep stalking other kids.
Who's that?
Some dude named like Andy or Andrew. I have no idea who it was.
Okay. And why did Don call?
I have no idea. He just called. I don't even know if he was working at the time.
Okay.
But if he was working, he obviously wouldn't know that there was some dude looking at the little kids.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
This dude named Andrew, Don calls Candace.
And tells her about, I don't know if his name was Anthony, Andrews, or something with an A.
And tell me about that conversation.
All I heard was...
And how did you hear it?
I heard because I asked her why he called.
Okay.
The only thing that she told me from the phone call is that there was some dude, Andrew, Anthony, Andy, whatever it was. Just the name A.
Okay.
That's all I remember. Is that he's been up on the property for a week or two trying to, like, I guess she said touch the little kids. That's what I was told.
He's trying to have what?
Touch the little kids.
Touch the kids?
Like give him a hug or something. I don't know.
What do you think? Do you think that's true?
I mean, it could be because she's had this, name was Billy, right? Yes, Billy. Billy was up there doing that stuff until we got arrested.
And Billy is the brother?
No.
The son?
No. Billy was an old drunk.
He's what?
Drunk.
He was an old drunk that was a friend of theirs that used to get in arguments with his wife.
And go
his
up to
wife
their
would
house.
take him out, and he would go up there and sleep in one of the sheds on the property.
Got it. And who was Billy trying to touch?
Well, Billy has the hots for grandma.
The grandma.
Got it. But what about the kids?
Oh no, he wasn't around the little kids. His mom wouldn't allow that with their mom.
Do you believe that someone took Summer, or do you believe that she wandered off? What do you believe happened?
I believe somebody took her. I know people say it doesn't happen, but it does happen. It happens in small towns, it happens in big towns. It happens in the country. And I believe somebody took her. Candace and I got up that morning. She came out and took me into the ER because my leg was messing up on me. And we were afraid something was wrong with my knee. I have a knee replacement.
We all walked down this path, me, my mom, and Summer.
All right. So all three of you together?
Yeah.
Now, how does Mom's knee handle this hill here?
Well, she uses her cane, so it's a little bit easier, and she'll hold on to my shoulder so
Okay.
she doesn't fall or nothing.
So you're kind of escorting her down here?
Yeah.
And is Summer ahead of you or behind
She's
you?
right here in front of me.
Okay. So walk me through that.
Oh, we're just walking down through here. I mean, usually, like I said, we go slow because of my mom's knee.
Okay.
Messed up.
Okay.
I was just standing here at the end, and then, well, the water's up a lot further than it usually is. Usually it's down. You can usually see all that wood sticking up out of the water. And she was just playing right here.
And what time do you get here about, if you remember?
I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you. The time is, I don't keep track of time.
No, I understand.
Something was wrong with my knee. I have a knee replacement. And she was worried that there was something wrong with it. And she took me into the hospital. And I ended up getting a shot for it to get rid of the pain. And they prescribed me medication to take to get the swelling down out of my knee and around my knee because it was inflamed. And then we waited around for my prescription. Summer went swimming that day at the horse stables, I believe it was. And then we come back and I went in my camper, and after we brought my groceries in for me, and the boys helped with that, and of course Summer. And I laid down and went to sleep, and I got up and I was sitting in my doorway, and we come out, and Candace asked me what I was doing. I said, well, we got to transplant these little cactuses into bigger pots. And we did that, and then Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in she said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
So why would Don, in your opinion, call Candace while you're in the line at Walgreens to say there's some dude on the property wanting to touch the kids? Help me understand that.
I mean, at first I thought because he calls her like every 2 hours because he works.
Okay.
I thought he was just doing his daily checkup.
Okay.
But then she told me about that. I was like, how does he even know that if he's supposedly working?
And what did she say?
I didn't say that. I was just saying in my mind.
And in your mind, what did you come to? What did you deduct?
Deduct? I thought that was just suspicious.
Really?
I even hear from people time to time where TBIs has contacted them because their cell phone happened to ping in the area. So I know that they're still working and they're still looking into things.
That's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
I mean, it's just, we explain how she does when she gets drunk. She tends to, when she gets drunk and high at the same time.
Yep.
She tends to think that she loses the kids, but they're out front in the yard. That's what I was thinking.
Got it. So this is something that's happened in the past?
No, she hasn't went missing. It's just that she got high and drunk and forgot that Summer was outside.
Got it.
Could she have been high, and that would have played a role in not necessarily, you know, just where she's not paying attention or grandma's not paying attention. And does grandma smoke?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And the thing about that is she won't smoke during the day.
Okay.
And she will not drive and smoke because she's so afraid that she's going to get a DUI and all that, and so she will not touch it.
Okay.
But she'll smoke a little bit at night. If she has a few drinks, she might smoke a little bit, and then she's going to bed. That's it. End of canvas.
Okay.
Till she wakes up in the morning, and then look out.
Got it. And then...
Miss Allison, how's that milk get rearranged?
I don't know, that milk was there when they pulled up like that.
Okay, but Hunter had the milk in the middle.
In the middle.
And so now the milk's on the other side of Summer. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't either, and that's why I'm asking.
I don't even remember how I got out the car. That's the funny part.
That's fine.
Like, no grown-ass man needs to be talking about a 12-year-old like that.
And I know that he also even gave Bear alcohol because he gave my grandkids alcohol and did something to them.
Who?
Donnie.
Donnie did something to your grandkids? What did Donnie do to your grandkids? When?
When we used to hang up there and they used to stay the night, but I stayed the night once up there.
But Don, you're saying Don Wells gave your grandkids alcohol?
That's what the little one says.
That's what what's your little one's name?
Michelle.
Michelle, how old is Michelle?
She's 9 now.
She's not. When was this? How old was she then? How old was she then?
You said about
7, 8.
Yeah.
What was she wearing that morning when you
The same. Well, when she was asleep next to me, you know, I'm not sure. As I just woke up and they stayed in bed and I got gone to work. And I'm not sure, but I know the picture of her wearing where she's asleep by the milk jugs. That's what she was wearing when she was kidnapped.
Okay, so it's the same outfit.
Yes.
And is that the outfit Candace said did she change when she went back in the house, or do we know?
I don't think so. That's the outfit she was going to wear for her first day of school.
Oh, so this is the outfit. So it had some sentimental value for her.
Yeah.
Did she pick it out?
I don't know. I'm always at work, and I'm glad she got to go to all these places with her daughter. You know, for the first 2 years, 18 months or so, Summer, when she was born, she didn't want her mother. She only wanted me.
Wow.
And that just blew me away. I was like, I just couldn't believe it, that she only wanted me. And Candace coerced her all these years by taking her to all these places, fishing and stuff. And it took all this time to get fishing and stuff. And it took all this time to get, but Summer loved her mother. It took time. And I don't know why she was just so attached to me like that. I've never had anything like that happen to me before. And I was just so thankful, I thank God,
Yeah.
So I've never had anybody love me like that.
Yeah.
And Candace coerced her all these years by taking her to all these places.
They dropped Hunter back off here at 2:30. They're parked right in front of that.
With this pole?
Yep, facing this way.
Facing which way?
This way.
This way. Oh, interesting.
The way she always did. Yep. Like she owns the road.
At 2:30.
Okay. At 2:30 p.m. Here's no nothing. I said, what's wrong? She goes, Summer's missing. I go, what do you mean?
Summer's gone.
Summer's gone. I said, what do you mean Summer's gone? Like, I started interrogating her. I said, what do you mean? I just seen you guys at 2:30 when you dropped Hunter off.
My bosses constantly harassed them, constantly come out on their jobs, constantly. If anybody knew where I was at that time, it would have been him. And the day after I fired him was when Summer got gone.
What? Say that again?
The day after I fired him is when Summer disappeared.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and he has tied hands to all out. Well, I've talked to and met here and there. They were out doing all kinds of stuff. But I thought it was 5:30. But the strange thing of it is when we went to the Hawkins County to do our lie detectors and everything like that, they took all of our phones. And then magically, all of our phone records from 3:30 on that day have been deleted.
And that would be an excuse if she told Grandma, hey, let's go, I need some meds. Let's go to the emergency room and pretend your knee hurts. I'm not saying her knee didn't hurt. I don't know. I'm just saying that could be, a motive. And if you do it, I'll get you a phone. And Candace wanted to use that phone for a reason. And also, I believe that, if what Hunter says is true about when he looked on her phone and the deleted messages said it's done, I just feel like that was a mistake. I feel like that was meant to go to the burner phone. And I feel like that's why all the messages from 3 o'clock on, how Donnie says, it's so weird. We got our phones back and everything was deleted from 3 o'clock on. In my mind, it's because Donnie was like, oh no, Candace, you messaged him on your regular phone. You need to go delete it. And we're going to delete everything from 3 on so that if the cops ask, well, why is everything deleted? We can say, well, I don't know. It's just a glitch, I guess. All the phones were deleted, because I could just see in his mind trying to think of a solution. And I don't know how those burner phones work. I don't know if you can trace them, but, there's the other possibility of maybe they thought, well, they're not even going to ask for her phone. And if they do, then it's more safe because, it's brand new phone. We just bought it. It's basically a throwaway phone. I mean, you see on crime every day that criminals use those phones for criminal activity for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never really made sense, right? And a lot of people are pointing it out here as well that, for her to interject that piece of the puzzle about, my phone wasn't working, so I had to go grab my mom's phone.
But it was working when she called Donnie.
Right. Yeah, good point. And of course, every phone, whether it has minutes on it or not, if you just pick it up and dial 911, you're going to get the nearest dispatcher. It's going to signal you in, cross county lines when it hits a tower, and it's going to send you to the nearest agency. and then they'll transfer you to where potentially you are. But yeah, that is a really great point. And quite frankly, the fact that Hunter does say, the grandmother was sitting in the car, trying to figure out her minutes.
Yeah.
And then to your observation, next thing you know it, Candace is grabbing that phone to call 911.
Find her, and they said no. So I ran over and I freaked out. I called Donnie because that's what I do automatically. I freak out,
You called Donnie.
I called Donnie. I said, I cannot find Summer. Come home now. He's like, call the cops. So I threw my phone down on the back of his pickup, ran over to my mom, picked up her phone because the only one that gets out there is AT&T.
Okay.
So I picked up her phone, I dialed 911. I said, I cannot find my daughter. And they sent people out, and I wasn't just going to stand there and wait for them to send people out.
Right.
I jumped in my mom's truck and I went down the driveway as fast as I could. I went everywhere I could possibly think, every road which way. I didn't see no cars. I didn't see nobody at all. And I was like flipping out. I was a hot mess, so you call it.
Let me ask you that question. What's the reason for Dawn calling?
Are you talking about like when Hunter was with them?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so, and this is the reason why I believe Hunter was inserted into the whole scene. He was, because everybody had said, Candace said that she hadn't talked to him for a couple months. Hunter even said that, and then Hunter said that she actually messaged him and asked. I think that Hunter was brought along as a witness. Well, for one, I feel like Donnie called, and he says, Candace says everybody, and I think they were making it a point to make sure Hunter knew that there was a pedophile on the property. My opinion, okay, if there's a pedophile around the property for 2 weeks, and that's what they said, he's been lurking around for a couple of weeks. Okay, I know Donnie would have told, if he, was concerned at all about the kids, he would say, you take those boys with you. You don't leave those boys there. So he calls to say, well, there's someone lurking around. And so then Hunter's witness to that. So later when the story comes out, well, there was some strange creeper lurking around, So that inserts the creeper.
Yeah.
And then also
so Donnie inserts, Donnie, he did. He inserted this person into the conversation, and Hunter heard it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Well, and also to Grandma too, because if she was there, I don't know if she was there when Donnie called, but also, I think Hunter said that he kept asking, well, where are you at? When are you coming? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, he's communicating with someone else who is going to, is going to pick up Summer, in my opinion. And they needed to know, it's going to be an hour because, maybe he could go sit up on some off-road close to the house. And then, I think that's why Donnie kept calling, and Hunter said, well, he kept calling over and over. And it's like, was he nervous? If he was so nervous about the guy lurking around the property, well, he'd already known for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and he knew that Candace was taking Grandma to the hospital first thing in the morning. So why would you just, well, you can just go to the hospital and I'll just call several times a day and ask if you're home yet to check on the boys. Why not just take them with, especially if you have Hunter there to help watch the other kids?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Mary, what do you think?
Yeah, well, it's the same with, what Jeannie said. That's what I think happened. I think that she did go pick Hunter up just so he could sit there and hear, what Donnie's saying and stuff. And, yeah, I don't know.
And at the same time, I mean, other things be an alibi to, and it's almost like when she was done with him, because she even says in that interview with you, Chris, because you said, okay, well, what'd you do with Hunter after? Well, I took him straight home. I told him, no, he can't come. Like she was done with him at that point.
Yeah.
Well, he served his purpose. No, you can't come back, because we got a plan here and you're not part of the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, me, my wife's, and her mother have all been deleted from 3:30 on.
So they had your phones that day then?
Yes, sir.
And when did they give them back to you?
They give them back, fairly quickly, but we never even looked at them until about, a week or two ago. We had some detectives that we talked to, a lot, and they wanted to know exactly this information, and we all looked, and it was all gone.
Where do you think she is?
Well, at first I thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, drug her out in the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high-end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook, because my wife was always posting stuff on Facebook. It could have been, she could be anywhere. I haven't. My mind just goes back and forth. I don't have any idea. But I figured kind of that. Well, a lot of people are talking about Ann Dudley. I don't know. I've never seen anything like him.
When you got the call, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, she called frantic, panicking, and I said, "Well, just in case, hang up and call 911." And I thought it was. For some reason, I thought it was 5:30. To be honest with you, I don't trust police. Okay. And we showed them all the information on our phones because they wanted to know. They wanted to know the timeline, so we showed them right then. When I got there, they wanted to know all that, and they wrote it all down.
And when you got there, do you remember what time you arrived?
I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. I was on Messenger with Candace as she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her in the area. Okay. So I talked to her the whole way there, and it's really kind of weird that we was able to talk all the way there, because normally we don't have connection like that.
Right.
As soon as it's kind of odd.
And what was she driving?
Her mother's truck.
The Chevy, the Silverado?
Yeah.